Yeah. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Hi everyone, Shirin here, and welcome back to Video Editing 101 on Adobe Live. Today we're talking all about glitch titles and transitions in Premiere Pro. This is going to be so much fun. I am thrilled for this. Cannot wait. Let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from, and let's see who we've got here today. So we've got Cody Bear, hello, Cece, Dalibor, Paco, Vikram, hello everyone. And I'm so glad you can hear me now. We were having a little bit of tech issues, but we're all good now. We've also got Melinda in the chat, hello. And as you are tuning in, for those of you who are just tuning in now, let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from. I'm so excited for this stream. So we've also got Sean in the chat, hello. We've got Carolyn, hi from Maryland. Hello, I always love seeing people from Maryland in the chat because that's where I'm originally from. So it's like, it's cool. Currently in LA, but love always seeing people from Maryland. All right, so let's hop on over to Premiere and I'll show you a quick preview of what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be doing glitch titles and transitions, and let me just play a little demo for you so you can get a general idea of what we're going to be doing. So those are the transitions, and now we've got these really cool glitch titles going on. All right, so let's hop on over to a new sequence, and we'll just start from scratch. So right now you see that I currently have some clips in my timeline, and we're going to be building off of these to add in those glitch effects. So the first thing that we need to do is create an adjustment layer. So currently you see that I have one, but let me show you how to make one. So down here, you'll see we have this little icon and it says new item if you hover over it. So if you press this, you'll get this drop down and you get all these different basically items that you can make. So what we're going to do is press adjustment layer. Now it'll bring up this box and we're just going to press OK. Everything looks good. And now we have created another adjustment layer. So just so I don't get confused, I'm going to delete that one and let me bring in the one that I currently have. So I'm going to press to select it and then click and drag this onto my timeline. So what I want to do is now trim this adjustment layer because I want this transition to be about 10 frames long. So what I'm going to do is bring over this playhead to the spot right between those two clips. And we're going to go over 5 frames to the left and to the right. So fun fact, a really quick and easy way to do that is by pressing Shift and then the arrow key. So I'm pressing Shift and then the left arrow key. Now we've gone to the left 5 frames. So now I'm going to hover over this adjustment layer and then press and drag this in to trim it. So we'll do the same thing. We're going to press Shift and now we're going to press the right arrow key twice to go forward 10 frames. And now we're just going to trim that as well. So now we have an adjustment layer that is 10 frames long. So what we're going to do from here is now add on the glitch effect. So if you go over to effects, we're going to look for glitch. So once you type in glitch, you'll see under video effects and then under immersive video, you have this effect called VR digital glitch. You're going to press this and then drag it onto your adjustment layer to add it on there. So now if you go over to effect controls, you'll see we have this area right here where it has all the different properties for this glitch effect. So If you're not seeing this, by the way, the effects or the effects control panel, what you can do is go over to Window and then press Effects and bring up all these different windows. So what we're going to do now is we are going to animate this glitch effect to make it a little bit more interesting. If you play this back right now, you'll see it's just a static sort of glitch effect. It's not really moving around. Let's see if we can, there we go. You know what, let me drag this out a little bit so you can get a more clear idea of what I'm talking about. You see how it's just not really moving around? So let me press Command C and let's start animating this. So you see, you have all these different properties, and really with glitch, there's really no right or wrong way to do this. It's really up to you and your creativity and kind of the look you're going for. So what you can do is start messing around with all of these and seeing what works best for you. So I'm going to start off, let's start with the scale perhaps. If we scale it like this, you see it'll just bring it in, or we can have it fully just fill the frame. So that looks pretty cool. I'm just going to leave that at 100. Let's go over to distortion. So let's try messing with geometry distortion X. So yeah, let's do that. So this will kind of change the way that that glitch effect is looking. So I'm going to start adding some keyframes so we can animate this. So somewhere towards the beginning, I will add a keyframe right here. I'll just leave it at 50. And to add the keyframe, I'm just pressing that stopwatch icon. So now I'm just going to scrub forward a little bit. And again, there's no real science to this. I'm just kind of randomly adding in keyframes. So let's just toggle this over. We'll do like 72. Why not? I'll go forward a little bit more and let's just keep adjusting the keyframe. So now if we play this back, let's see what that did for us. And just for the sake of this, let me just drag this out again so we have a clearer idea of what is going on. All right, so since we only added keyframes in the beginning, it's only going to be animating right there. What we can do from there is go and select all of them by just pressing and dragging over them. Now they're all selected. We can press Command C to copy, and then we can just go over to right here. We'll place our playhead there, and we will press Command V, and we'll scrub forward a little bit, Command V. We're just going to keep pasting in those keyframes. So now let's look at that. All right, so you see it was animating a little bit in the beginning. So now what we're going to do from here is do more or less the same thing to the Y position. So we're going to go down to Geometry, Distortion, Y. And from here, I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to, let's start with a 50. And I'll press that stopwatch icon to add in a keyframe. And we'll just go forward a little bit. And we will change this. Keep going forward, adjusting the Y distortion. And now I'm just going to press and drag over to select all of them, press Command C, and we will go forward a few frames and press Command V to just keep pasting those keyframes in. And now let's look at that. Awesome. So from here, we can go through and keep doing different things. We can do the scale X and the scale Y. So let's try messing with that. We will start here and we'll leave it at 50 to begin with, add a keyframe in, and I'll scrub forward a little bit, and I will toggle this over to about a 73, go over a few more frames, and keep adjusting the scale. And from here, again, I'm just going to press and select to hold all of them, Command C, and I'll go forward, Command V. And then let's do the same thing for scaling the Y position. So we'll add a keyframe for that, go forward a little bit, and we'll just keep messing with it. I really love that you can be as random as you want with this because there really is no right or wrong way to do glitch. So again, we'll just press Command C and then Command V, and maybe let's Command V one more time. Okay, so let's start from the beginning and let's see what this is looking like. All right, very cool. So from here, we can add on more effects. So what we can do is go back to the effects panel and let's look for lens distortion. And we're going to go down a little bit right here. So within video effects and then within distort, you'll see this lens distortion effect. So I'm going to click and drag this onto my adjustment layer and we'll go back to effect controls. So now let's just toggle this up so we have a cleaner workspace, and you'll see right below it, we've had this lens distortion effect added to our effect controls. So from here, we can play around with all these different settings. What I'm going to try messing around with first is the curvature. So right here, you'll see if I increase the curvature, it's kind of like bending the frame inwards. But then if I push it out, it's giving me this very fisheye sort of wide angle lens effect. And I think that looks really cool. So what I'm going to do is press Command Z to just bring this back to 0. So at the beginning, I'm going to add a keyframe for 0. And then somewhere right here where those two clips intersect, I'm going to do a 50, or no, not 50. We'll do -50. And then I will go forward a little bit. Let's do, you know what? Let's trim this adjustment layer actually. We'll make it back to 10 frames long. So right here where my playhead is at, where these two clips intersect, I'm going to press Shift and press the arrow key, the right arrow key, to go over 5 frames, and I will just trim this back over. So now let's go back and we will add another keyframe at the end, and we'll do 0. So now it'll just kind of have this really quick fisheye effect. And you'll see as I'm scrubbing through this, pay attention to this program monitor right here. You'll see as we're going through it, it's creating this sort of fisheye effect, and then it's going back out. And that helps it to kind of seamlessly transition. So let's take a look at what this looks like. Cool, right? And it's so quick and easy. It's so much fun. So now from here, let's say you want to make a preset with that. You can do that. So you are going to select both of these effects. And the way I did that was by pressing Command and then pressing over these two effects. And if you're on PC, that is Control. So now from here, with these two effects selected, you're going to right click and then press Save Preset. So from here, you can give this a name. So let's call this something like glitch fisheye effect. And then we will press OK. So now if we go back to our project panel right here, what we can do is drag in another adjustment layer. And let's just trim this down a little bit. Something like that looks great. So now what we can do is go over to effects, and you'll see this top bin right here says presets. So if we toggle this down, you see that I already created this fisheye glitch effect, but the one that we just created is the glitch fisheye effect. They're both more or less the same thing, but let me drag this on, and you'll see once we've added it to our adjustment layer, we now have that transition added as a preset, and we don't have to go in and manually add in all those keyframes again. So if you know that this is an effect that you want to use across your project or across multiple projects, this is a really quick and easy way to be able to add in that transition. And then another thing you can do is, let's say you already have this transition created, right? And you want to add the same transition sort of effect somewhere around here for your clip. So with this adjustment layer selected, you can press Option or Alt and then drag this over to wherever you want, and you've made a duplicate of that adjustment layer with the glitch effect on it. So really quick and easy way to make, you know, glitch transitions. It's so fun. It's so easy. Let me know in the chat if you are into glitch effects and if you've tried this before. It's so fun. So let's see. Vikram is saying, Shirin, I want to know, can you do in pop-up glitch? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Can you let me know? I would love to know what a pop-up glitch is. And let's see. There's a question in here about, will there be a replay because I have missed the beginning? Yes, you can catch the replay over on the Adobe Creative Cloud channel and also just on Behance. So let's see. Michelle is saying great tips. Awesome, thank you, Michelle. And then Cody is saying, looks like Shirin is in the Matrix. That is, what a compliment, thank you. And oh, awesome, Michelle is saying perfect timing. Have an upcoming project this will be perfect for. Oh, that makes me so happy. You are going to love doing this. It's just so quick and easy. And then Paula is saying, these are awesome bonus shortcuts to add to glitch or any other effect we create. Thank you. Yeah, it's so cool and like fun. Delbor is saying, thank you, great technique. Yay, I'm glad you guys are loving this. Glitch is just so much fun. It's a really cool way to kind of elevate your video and make it look like you spent a lot more time editing it, even though that took us, what, like 10 minutes? It's so easy to do. All right, so let's move on over to creating a glitch title, which is just as easy. So right now you see in my timeline, I have this black adjustment, or not adjustment, this black color matte created. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you. We're gonna go back over here and you see right here where I have this and it says black. I'm gonna show you how to create something like that. So if you go over to new item again, you'll see you have this option right here that says color matte. So basically what that means is it's going to fill our screen with the color of your choosing. So you can select the width and the height, and this is perfectly fine. So I'm going to press OK. And now we can choose what color we want to create. So let's say for this one, we want to do something like this blue. I'll press OK, and we can give this a name. So I will call this blue, and we will press OK. So now we have created this color matte. And if I drag and drop this onto my timeline, you'll see it just like that. We have created this blue background essentially. And if you want to change the color, like let's say you're going through editing and you've decided, you know what, I don't really like this blue, I want to make it pink. So you can just double click on this blue layer right here, and then you can just change the color to whatever you want. So let's say we want to do a pink. And another way that you can do that is by just double clicking right here in your project panel, and that will also bring up the color picker. So I'm going to press cancel, and let's just do Command Z. And you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this from my timeline. Let's work on a black background because personally, I feel like for glitch, black is just the most punchy looking. It looks really cool against a black background. So what we're going to do now is add in some text. So right here, you see we have the type tool. And if I press this and then press right here, you can now begin to type in your text. So let's just type in Shirin, because why not? And let's go over to our graphics workspace. So over here, you see that we have the essential graphics panel on the right. If you press edit, it will bring up all these different effects for this title that you just created. So if I press right here on my name, Shirin, you'll see that we now have the ability to change the text and the appearance and all this stuff. So currently I have it set to this font right here, Montserrat, which is one of my personal favorites. So I'm going to leave it be just like that. That's looking good to me. And what I'm going to do is just change the align. So I'm going to align horizontally, then also press this icon right here to align vertically. So now our text is perfectly centered within our frame. So what we can do from here is begin to add on kind of like a glitch effect. So let me just bring this over, and I'm going to just expand or compact rather my timeline a little bit. So let's do some glitch effects. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go back over to my personal workspace. And by the way, if you're wondering, how did I make a workspace called Queen? You can basically just mess around with anything. So let's say I want to add another workspace. Let's say I want to add Lumetri color. So now that I've added this in here, I can just press this pancake icon and then save as new workspace. And then you can give this a name, and then you can have a workspace called whatever you want. It's really cool. You can really just customize everything. And then if you want to reset it back to the way it was, you can just press reset to saved layout. So I'm gonna close this source monitor right here because I don't need that. So I will press close panel. And all right, we can carry on. So what I'm gonna do now is go over here and we're gonna look for VR chromatic aberrations. And I will press and drag this over to Shirin. And you'll see it just like that. We have this really cool sort of chromatic aberration effect going on, and it is so much fun. So what we're gonna do now is go over to, let's see. I'm going to press Option and then drag this up just like that. So now we have 3 layers that say Shirin. So what we can do from here is add some sort of like glitchy effect. So I'm going to go over to effects and I'm going to look up wave warp. So you'll see it's under video effects and distort. We have wave warp. I'm going to press and drag this onto my clip. And we'll just give this a sec. Let me just get rid of these 2 real quick. All right. It's not wanting to work today. That's great. Let's press Command Z. And let's just try deleting this. We'll press cut. Let's see if we can add that on. You know what? Maybe I'll just try also getting rid of chromatic aberrations for now. So let's go back to effects, wave warp. Let's try that one more time. Fingers crossed. All right, there we go. It's working. So now what we can do, let's just go through and let's change up some of these settings. So we're going to change the wave type to begin with. If you press this drop down, you'll see you have all these different options. What I want to do is a square. So now you see we essentially have these bars within our text, and it's already creating this really cool sort of glitchy effect, right? So what I can do now is change the direction. That's what I want to do next. So instead of having it be vertical, I want to make it horizontal looking. So let's do 180. And now we have these horizontal bars and it's looking really cool. So the next thing we can do is change the wave height and the wave width. So let's mess with these a little bit. So you see, if we do the wave height, it's basically adjusting where those different slices are. That's what I'm going to call them, the different slices of text. So let's maybe start off with something like a 5. I just want it to be really subtle because, you know, if you drag it out all the way like this, it's not really something that you can read. And I want to start off with it being a little bit more easy to read. So next we're going to do the wave width. So from here, let's also just start off with a 5. All right, so now you see we have these really compact lines basically added. So I think that looks pretty cool. What we can do from here is begin to add some keyframes so that we can animate the glitch effect. So if I play this back right now, similarly to the glitch transition initially, it's not really going to be animating a whole lot. Like, yeah, it's moving because it has that wave warp effect, but we want to make it really punchy. So let's add some keyframes in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some keyframes to the wave height. So I'm going to start off right here. Again, we will press the stopwatch icon. And now you'll see we've added a keyframe. We'll just scrub forward a few frames and we'll just randomly mess with this. So we'll do a 10 and then we'll scrub forward a little bit. Let's do maybe like 6. And then we can scrub forward a little bit more and we'll do 8. Again, no particular reason why I'm choosing these numbers. I'm just trying to add some sort of animation in here. So now I'm going to do the same thing where I was copy and pasting these keyframes. So I just selected all of them, and now I'm going to press Command C, and I'll go forward a few frames and press Command V to paste in those keyframes. And we'll just keep going, something like that. Let's take a look at that. All right, we have some movement going on. It's looking cool. So the next thing that we can do is go to phase. So right here, I'm gonna just press to make a keyframe for phase at 0, and I'll go to the end, and let's do maybe like a 50. Let's check that out. Sweet. So basically you're seeing that the animation got a lot quicker, right? Like the scan line effect that we have going on, it's just going through that really quickly. So it's a really fun way to just punch up your glitch effect. It's really, really cool. Vikram says, the glitch looks like an old video game in my childhood. And Felix says, yeah, I like it too. And Cody says, this is a really cool effect. Oh, we've also got Gus in the chat. Hey, Gus. He says, this looks super fly. And Cody says, this is a really cool effect. You guys, this is so much fun. I love it. It really does have kind of like that old school video game effect going on. And I love this so much. So the next thing we are going to do is add another wave warp effect. So if I go over to effects again, I'm going to select wave warp and then press and click and drag this onto that text layer. And you'll see we now have 2 wave warp effects. So for the sake of not confusing ourselves, I will toggle this up just to clean it up a little bit. And we know that now we are working within this wave warp effect, the second one that we added. So for this one, I'm going to press the drop down again. And now we're going to select noise. Look at that. Do you see how it instantly just added noise to it? Like it just, so cool. So the same thing for this applies with the direction. We're going to change it from 90 to 180 just so it's nice and horizontal. And then we're going to change the wave height and the wave width. So let's do wave height of, again, we'll just start with 5. And then for wave width, again, let's just do 5. Why not? And let's just, for fun, let's see what this looks like at an 8. And maybe we'll just go up to 10. It's basically just adding a bit more. I feel like 10's pretty solid. So we will leave it at that. So now if we take a look at this, you'll see we have this really cool glitchy sort of effect going on. So now what we can do is press Option or Alt, and I will just duplicate this by clicking and dragging it up. So now we have 3 layers of this Shirin text. So now what we're going to do is go back and we will add that chromatic aberration effect that I was trying to add at the beginning. So over in Effects, I'm going to look for chromatic aberrations. And what we can do is now press and drag this and apply it to our clip. Or if you want to make your life easier and apply it to all of them at once, I'm going to press Command Z just to remove that. You can press and hold and select all these clips on your timeline and then drag over the VR chromatic aberrations. And now you have added that effect to all of those clips. So you'll see if I go through and individually select these, we have VR chromatic aberrations. Let's go to this one, same thing, and this one as well. So just a quick little tip to make your life a little bit easier when you're editing. So now what we can do is really just start messing with these. So what I personally like to do with this is have 1 layer just dedicated to red, 1 to green, and 1 to blue. So let me show you what I mean. So for this one, I'm gonna put aberration red set to 10. And then I'm gonna go to aberration blue and just make this 0. So next we'll go to this middle Shirin layer, and I'm gonna make the red 0, the green 10, and the blue 0. And then we'll go over to the top layer right there, and I will make the red 0, green 0, and blue is already set to 10. So that's looking good. From here, what I'm gonna do is go down and I will change the blend mode to screen. And then I'm also going to do the same thing for this bottom layer right here. So just going to go down, change the blend mode to screen. And for the middle one, you're just going to let it be. You just kind of want to pancake it in there. So what we can do from here is we can really just start to have fun with it. This is where the creativity comes into play, and it's really up to you how intense and dramatic you want to make this. So let's start off by just expanding the timeline a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is take these top two layers. I'm going to press and drag and hold to select them. And then I'm going to just trim these a little bit. So what I want to do is go to the beginning of this first Shirin layer right here. So to do that, you can just press the up arrow key, and no matter where your playhead is placed at, it will take you to the beginning of the next, or whatever clip is next or previous in your timeline. So that makes sense? So like, for example, if I press down, it's going to take me to this clip. And if I press down again, it'll take me to the end of that clip. So I'm just going to press the up arrow twice. We're now at the beginning. And what I want to do is now just press the right arrow once to go over one frame. And let's just zoom in on this timeline a bit more. And what I'm going to do is make a cut right here. And then I'll press the right arrow key one more time, and I'll make one more cut, and I'll do that one more time. But this time, what I'm going to do is drag this in. So essentially, we now have this black frame in between these two. So it kind of makes it look like it's going in and out the text, right? So to kind of introduce this title and make it really more impactful, what I'm going to do first is take this first clip right here, and I'm just going to scale it up. So let's scale this up to something really large. And let me just go back to the beginning right here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to scale this up. And what I like to do here is kind of apply principles of graphic design a little bit. So within graphic design, if you're familiar with it, you know that if you're trying to cut off text, you want to try to cut it off in a way where it's still something you're able to read, but you have the text cut off a little bit. So like, for example, if I was to scale this down a little bit like that, you see how we have the space on the left and right of frame where it's black? You don't want that. You want to cut off the text a little bit. So I'm just going to scale this up a little bit. Something like this, like a 544 looks good for me. And then I'm going to change the Y position, and I'm just going to bring it down a little bit to the bottom of the frame. And then we'll go over to the next frame right here. And what we're going to do is also scale this one up, but we won't scale it up as much. We'll just try to cut off the S and the N. So something kind of like there. And then I'm going to bring up the Y position. And you might be confused why I'm doing this. Like, Shirin, like literally nobody can read this right here. What are you doing? But let me show you. Let's just watch this right here and you'll see. Okay, it went way too quick. Let's try that one more time. It's not wanting to show you. Cool. So let's just make this longer, and hopefully it's a little bit easier to see when I play this back. Let's try one more time. Okay, well, if this is rendered out, you'll see, but I will just scrub over it so you kind of get a general idea. So basically, when you're going into it, it'll go like this, this, and then pause for a sec, and then go back to this. If you see it all together, like I showed in the beginning, it just makes it kind of like a cool transition into the title. From here is we can continue going in and just cutting up this title and changing it up. So I'll go forward, let's do 2 frames. I'll make a cut here. I'll go forward 1 more frame, and I will drag this in to leave a space again. And that's something you want to keep in mind. Having these sort of black spaces where there's no text on screen is something that will just make the glitch title really a glitch title, because it just adds that extra sort of animation to it, if you will. And you can definitely leave more space than just 1 frame. So let's say I want to go forward and I want to make another 1 frame cut. And now I can go forward 2 frames and I'll leave a space. And now we have this 2 frame sort of gap in between the text. So now let's go back and let's keep animating this a little bit, or like making it look animated, you know? So I'm gonna scale this up again. And we'll do something like this, and we'll just leave it right there. We'll leave it centered. And then we'll go back here, and let's start bringing in these 2 other titles that we created. So I'm gonna click and drag these over. And now let's go forward 1 more frame. I'll make a cut right there. And let's go forward. Let's do maybe like 2 frames this time. I'll make another cut. We'll go 1 frame over, make another cut. And fun fact, if you want to make a cut across all these layers at once, you can do that by pressing Command K or Control K, and that will make a cut across all these different layers. And the reason why it was able to do that is because I have these layers selected over here on the right. So you see where it says V2, V3, V4, and it's this blue box is basically around them. So that means those layers are selected. So let's say if I also have V1 selected and I do Command K, now I've made a cut across all those layers because they've all been selected. But I don't want that. I only want it to cut the titles. So I'm going to choose to turn off the V1 layer, or not off, but you know, just for the selection. And then now when I press Command K like that, you'll see we've made a cut just across these 3 layers. So let me just press Command C to get rid of those cuts right there. And let's just keep going forward. We'll just make a few more cuts, and then we'll go back and we'll start messing with it. So 1, 2, 3 frames forward, we'll make a cut. 1 frame forward, we'll make a cut. 1, 2 frames, and we'll make a cut. All right, so now we have some cuts, and what we can do is kind of play like tic-tac-toe in a way. I mean, not really, but like what I like to do is go in and just randomly select different layers and delete them. So that's what I'm going to do to begin with. Again, no rhyme or reason at all. I'm just going to delete some random ones. Okay, so now what we can do is let's just go back here and we will start individually messing around with these different layers. So for this one, let's just go to the second layer right here. And let's change the X and Y position of this. So I'll just bring it down slightly and then over to the left. And then for this top layer, I'll choose it and I will move over the position. I'll move it up a little bit and over to the right. Then we'll go over here and I will change this top position as well. And we'll change around the X and Y. And then we'll do the same thing for these ones right here. So let's say for this one, let's say we want to scale it up. Why not? We'll scale this up a little bit. And then I'll change the Y position. I'll just drag it up. And then let's choose this middle clip right here. And let's scale that up as well. So I'll do something like this. And then I'll bring it up. And then let's drag it over to the right a little bit, and maybe I'll just bring it up a little bit more. All right, so now we can go to the next one. So for this one, let's just adjust the position as well. The 2 main things that you want to adjust here are your scale and position. I feel like those just really make the most impact. And it's the easiest way to add some sort of animation to this glitch effect. So let's just keep going. We'll just keep messing with this. Norse says this effect happens when ghosts are around. You know, it's almost Halloween, and Halloween's my favorite time of year, so I'm here for it. Bring it on. It's also kind of cloudy and overcast today, so it's oddly fitting. Let's just keep making some adjustments. All right, so we'll move forward and let's let's mess with this first layer. We haven't really touched that yet. So I will scale this up and I'll bring it down. And let me just scale this down a little bit like that. Yeah. And then let's go to this middle layer and we'll bring this down and scale it up. And I'll just make it a little bit larger than that first layer. And I will bring it down a little bit and then over to the right. And let's change this one. Khalil says, no, it's when hackers get creative on a video editing software. Y'all, am I a hacker now? I mean, yeah, I could see that though. Definitely has like a hacker vibe going on. Now all I need is some binary numbers in the background, like the zeros and ones, and I'll just be like a certified hacker for sure. Nurse says, here it is spring season. And Cody says, it's super cloudy and windy here too. Very autumn. Yeah. You know, Norsh, you're so lucky it's spring. Spring's so beautiful. And it's just like all the flowers are so pretty in spring. I love it. But I also love fall. I really don't have a favorite season. Let me know in the chat pod if you do have a favorite season. It's so hard for me to pick. I really love them all. They all have something special about them. Let's just go through and we'll just keep changing this effect right here. So I'll scale that up. And then for this one, let's choose the top layer. And then I'll scale that up slightly as well. And then maybe I'll just bring it like to the right a little bit. And let's see what that's looking like. Look at that, how cool. I know it went by really quick, but like, just take a look. How fun is that? So we can keep going forward and we can just keep doing this and building it out. So it's one of those things where the more cuts you have and the quicker cuts they are, the better. So let me just show you what would happen if you have a longer sort of glitch going on. So let's say this is where we want to make our cuts and we have like this longer glitch, and I'll just choose all of these and I'll drag this in a little bit and I'll make another longer cut. So let's just do Command K. We'll cut across all of them and I'll leave some more space here. And then we'll make another long cut, Command K, choose these, drag these in. So now if I go through and I'll just quickly mess with the settings here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we'll just change these a little bit. And then we'll go over, let's change this top layer. I'll scale this up. And then we'll move forward and I'll just keep messing around with the scale and position. And we'll do this last set right here. Or you know what? No, I'm just gonna leave that be. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And I'll just play it from the beginning of this glitch title effect. I mean, in this case, it kind of works, but if you do want it to be like a little bit more impactful, I would say try to stick to quick cuts. So like, in my opinion, like, yes, this works technically, but I feel like it would look a little bit better if these cuts were shorter. So let's just choose all of these and I'll just drag these in a little bit to make the duration a little bit shorter. And then let's bring these over around here. And then I'll do the same thing with these next few sets. So I'll drag these in a little bit, make them a little bit shorter, bring it over. And same with this last one. And maybe let's just make this like a little bit longer. All right, so now let's take a look at that from the beginning. Okay, much better. I like how it's like quickly cutting through here. That looks really good. So let's move on. And I want to finish off this sort of title effect. So personally, what I like to do is have a lot of really quick cuts at the end. and they'll just kind of like go like this, you know, like they'll flash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one frame cuts. We'll do maybe like 4 or 5 of them. So I'm going to go right here to the beginning, and I'll press the right arrow so we can go over one frame. I'll press Command K, make a cut. We'll go over one more time, press Command K, right arrow key, Command K. You get the point. I'm just going to keep doing that a few times. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go in, and every other frame, I'm going to delete these clips. So right there, right there, right there, and right there. And maybe let's do one more cut. So now we have 5 of these titles, right? And they're just flashing in and out. So let's take a look at this. Let me just collapse my timeline a little bit. Let's go to the beginning and let's press play. How cool is that? I love that. And if you do want to get like a little bit more fancy with it, you can go in and just individually mess with these layers a little bit just to add some more dynamic sort of vibe to it. So I'll just go through, I'm randomly choosing these text layers and adjusting the position and scale a little bit. I'll just go over and I'll just keep doing that. And we'll go over to this next one. Khalil says, this is a very nice job you're doing right now because people must pay a lot of money to get this glitch effect in one-click plugin. Yes, and that's why I'm so excited to be able to teach this to you, because you can truly do this on your own. Like if you look at a lot of those plugins, you might be like, oh my gosh, this looks so crazy complicated to make. It might look intimidating, but it's really not. It's really this easy. So you have the ability to go through and customize exactly how you want your glitch effect to look. And definitely take this as like a starting point. You can go through and add more effects on top of this effect that I'm showing you right here to really just add some more oomph to your glitch titles and transitions. So yeah, definitely a fun way to create your own sort of custom glitch effects. All right, so now that we have those randomly changed a little bit, let's go back to the beginning and let's press play. Love it. So what I'm going to do from here is just make a cut right here on my color matte layer. So I press C to bring up the blade tool, and I'm going to press to make a cut. Now I'm pressing V to bring back the selection tool, and I'm going to press to select this right here and press delete to just get rid of it. And what I actually like to do is leave a little bit of space on the beginning and end. So in case I do want to go in and maybe add another transition to it or something like that, I have some space. So I'm just gonna go forward. I'll press Shift and then the right arrow key twice, and I'll just bring that out. And we'll do the same thing at the beginning. So Shift and then the left arrow key twice. So now we have some space at the beginning and the end. Basically, these are called handles. Again, it just gives you some room in case you do want to add in like transitions or anything like that. So now let's say you want to change the color of this background. Let's say we don't want to do black, right? What you can do is, just like before, double click right here. And let's say we want to make this something like this purpley color for Premiere Pro. Why not? All right, so now we have something like this. And let's press play. And now you have glitch on purple. And you can really just have fun with this, change it up to whatever color you want it to be. So I'll just double click again, and let's make this like this sort of tealish color. I'll press play. And there you go. Love it. Sean says you need a warning at the beginning for light flashes. Oh, you are so right. Definitely will make sure that is like listed in the description or something. All right, so now let's say you want to add this sort of glitch text over some footage. What you can do is, we'll go over right here. You see I have this clip already in my timeline, and let's say we want to add this title over here. So what I'm going to do is press and hold and drag over all these clips, and I'm just going to move them over. So now they are on top of this footage right here. So now if we play this, you'll see we have that glitch title added to the top of the video, and it looks really cool. So something else that I like to do here is I'm just gonna click to select all of these, and then I'll drag it up one layer, and let's bring over this black color mat. And I'm gonna trim this down so the beginning and end match the length of this title. And what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna go to the blend mode. And typically I like to do either hue or color. So you'll see if I have this set to hue, the hues in the original clip right below are now set to kind of like this teal color. And you can turn down the opacity if you don't want the effect to be so strong. We'll do maybe like a 50. And what I want to do now is change the color. So I'm gonna double click right here again on this color mat, and let's do something kind of like a pink. So like that. And now the footage below has kind of like this pink hue going on, and it looks really cool. And then if we go over to color, it just makes it even more intense. Like the whole, everything, like all the color will be set to kind of like this pink effect. So I think that's a little bit too strong. I'll bring it down to maybe like a 20% opacity. Now it's more like a tint, and that looks really cool. Let's try doing this pink as a hue, and let's maybe bring it up a little bit, do like 50, let's do 80. Yeah, that's looking cool. I like how it makes it look a little bit more like, I don't know, alien-y, is that the right word? Spacey, future-y. Because like, look, when you go from here to this, it just really matches the glitch vibe. It looks pretty cool. So now if we take a look at this, you see when we have the glitch title going on, it has kind of like this cool effect going on as well with the colors in the back, and it just looks really amazing. Now, let's say you've decided that you don't want to spend the time creating these glitch effects because you're like, Shirin, I just want to just get in and get out, have some really quick glitch effects. So what you can do is go over to graphics. And if you go over to the essential graphics panel, what you want to do is go over to Adobe Stock. So once you press this, we're going to type in glitch in the search bar, and you can choose the free option, and these are all free to use. So you'll see we have 3 pages of glitch effects, and these are all so cool. And what you can do to preview them is, for example, let's say we want this one, the glitch text title, press it and then hover over it, and it'll give you a preview of what that looks like. So let's say for fun, we want to use this one. I will press and hold and bring this onto my timeline, and we'll just give this a sec to load. Khalil says, for more professional looking and action genre titles, you can blend some videos with special effects to the text with screen or lighten, or depending on the needs, it can be complicated but interactive. Yeah, totally. You can really just build on top of this effect that I'm showing you and make it really custom to whatever project that you were working on and add in those different sort of effects. So now you see that within the Essential Graphics panel, if we go over to Edit and we select this glitch text title, you now have the ability to change all these different things. So we have media replacement going on, and for this one, we can drag in a clip, for example. So if I go over to my project panel and I go to footage, let's see, let's just pick a clip. We'll do, let's say we want to do this one. I'll just drag this over, and now we have that video set to our background essentially. And then from here, we can go through and we can change like the global controls for the position and all that. I don't want to do that. I want to go over to the title. So for this one, let's say we want to change the title, and we'll call that Shirin. And then again, you can change like the font and all of that right here. And let's go over to the bottom text controls. And I'll change this to, you know what, I'll just completely get rid of it. Why not? And now let's look at that. And look how cool that is. You have all these glitch effects going on just like that with dragging and dropping one title from the Essential Graphics panel onto your timeline. So that is how easy it is to make glitch titles and transitions in Premiere Pro. I really hope that you found it helpful. And thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to stick around because we have the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge coming up next. It's a replay and it is so cool. So definitely make sure to stick around. We have lots of amazing shows coming up all day. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you all next time. Bye.